This is Danish-InfoNewsTv, your Danish English news updates. Welcome to Danish-InfoNewsTv, your source for the latest and most important stories from across Denmark. Today's headlines include a woman sentenced for helping circumcise her 12-year-old niece, and 5 people charged in a major money laundering case involving over 70 million krona. Rasmus Paludan avoiding prison in a hate speech case, and new data show thousands of public employees facing violence and threats at work. Stay tuned for the full stories. We begin on Thursday, on October 2nd. A police car was involved in a traffic accident near the Copenhagen summit. The accident happened Thursday morning near the Bella Center in Amager, where an EU-related meeting is taking place. Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen has rejected Viktor Orban's proposal regarding Ukraine, which he described as a strategic partnership. With Ukraine is prioritizing its own interests over EU membership, insisting that both Ukraine and Moldova must retain the option of full EU membership. She spoke at the press conference with President Zelensky. In a different story, a Dane who has a terminal diagnosis was operated on in Spain. 41-year-old Christina Jensen underwent brain tumor surgery in Spain after Danish doctors said there was nothing more they could do. She raised funds for treatment abroad and is now expected to recover fully, reports TV2 Nord. Kiosk fine for selling nicotine to teen test buyer. A kiosk owner on Els was fined 25,000 krona by the Western High Court on Thursday for selling nicotine pouches to a 16-year-old who was not carrying identification. A man was arrested after skulking around Korsør residences. Following reports of suspicious activity, a 50-year-old man in Korsør was charged with car theft and burglary. Activity in the area is reported by the South Zealand police. Danish travelers exposed to rabies. An increased number of Danes are being treated for possible rabies after animal bites abroad, according to the State Serum Institute. In 2024, 340 people were treated, and numbers continue to rise in 2025. 2 men jailed for defrauding elderly. 2 men aged 21 and 28 have been sentenced to 8 and 6 months in prison for defrauding 14 elderly citizens of more than 200,000 krona. In a different case, gang-linked man arrested for extortion. Police in Central and West Zealand have arrested a 36-year-old man suspected of trying to extort a citizen over an alleged debt. He will appear in court Thursday. Night work increases risk of headaches. Working night shifts raises the risk of headaches by 30%, according to the National Research Center for the Working Environment. The study involved 522 hospital workers alternating between day and night shifts. Let's look at news from Friday, October 3rd. Police enforces new law to seize car after drug deal. Just 4 days after approval, police have used a new law allowing seizure of vehicles used in drug trafficking. A car was confiscated following a drug case, Central and West Zealand police report. 9 convicted in brutal assault near Hillerød. 8 men and 1 woman aged 22 to 29 have been sentenced to between 3 years and 11 months and nearly 6 years in prison for a violent assault in Gadevang near Hillerød. Residents add barbed wire after drunk youth vandalism. Residents of Brønderslev apartment complex have installed barbed wire after repeated vandalism, public urination and sex acts by drunk youth. near their homes, reports TV2 Noor. 17-year-old sentenced for attempted murder of sister. A 17-year-old boy has received 4 years in prison for trying to kill his sister last October in Copenhagen's Nordvest district. He is considering to appeal. 4 men get 20 years total for brutal home robbery. 4 men aged 31 to 50 were sentenced to over 20 years combined for torturing a 75-year-old man during a home robbery in Mørel-Fyn. The victim was tied up, beaten, and scalded with hot water. All 4 men have appealed. Woman dies after motorcycle crash. According to Fyn police, a 50-year-old woman dies as a result of injuries she received in a motorcycle accident on Udensevej on Friday morning. Supreme Court refuses to reopen citizenship case. Denmark's Supreme Court will not reopen a woman's case over lost citizenship, saying it will interfere with Parliament's authority. She lost her Danish nationality in 2018 after an administrative error was discovered. Person seriously injured in Brøndby assault. A person has been severely injured in a violent incident on Vibenholms Allé in Brøndby. Police say it is unrelated to a separate shooting in Ishøj earlier Friday. Supreme Court wrong to jail refugees using fake papers. The Supreme Court decided that a Somalian man and an Iranian woman were wrongfully imprisoned for using fictitious documents to escape. They should have been protected under the Refugee Convention, the court found. Now to news from Saturday, October 4th. 22-year-old charged with attempted murder after hitting man twice. A 22-year-old man allegedly hit a 62-year-old twice with his car on Vibenholms Allé in Glostrup after the victim intervened when the suspect assaulted his girlfriend. Gunther Kler, a British-Brazilian citizen convicted in Denmark for fraud related to dividend taxes, will be extradited to Luxembourg. He is currently serving his sentence in Nyborg prison. News from Sunday, October 5th. Man charged with brutal assault on woman. A 38-year-old man from Børkop is accused of stabbing, beating and strangling a woman in March. Animal rights group reports pig transport fraud. Animal Protection Denmark has reported a pig transport organizer for falsifying documents to allow illegal long-distance transports across Europe. Man dies after Ishøj shooting. A 49-year-old man shot Friday in Ishøj has died. A 39-year-old suspect is in custody until October 30th. In another case, man stabbed in Frederiksværk. A 28-year-old man was stabbed but is not in life-threatening condition. No arrests have been made yet. News from Monday, October 6. Man charged with neglecting homicide after fatal crash. A 30-year-old man faces charges after 50-year-old motorcyclist was killed near Assens. Doctor given indefinite sentence for abuse of daughters. A 35-year-old doctor from Halsnæs has been sentenced to indefinite detention for sexually abusing his 2 young daughters and sharing material online. Woman jailed for 1.4 million krona data fraud. A 45-year-old woman got 2 years in prison for stealing and burglary spree in Silkeborg. Man charged with 17 years of abuse against partner. A 50-year-old from Aalborg is accused of repeatedly assaulting his former partner and son over 17 years. Major accused of bribery over luxury dinner. The Supreme Court will decide whether a 61-year-old Army major's Michelin star dinner paid for by a weapon supplier in 2011 counts as bribery. In a traffic accident, an unlicensed woman crashed with a child in the car. A 38-year-old woman without a driver's license ran a stop sign in Holbæk with her 6-year-old daughter in the car. Man dies after capsizing near Hanstholm. A 55-year-old man died after boat capsized Sunday night. 3 others were rescued. Police seek suspect after diamond ring theft in Fyn. Police are searching for a man aged 65 to 75 suspected of stealing a 119,000 krona diamond ring from a jeweler in Odense. Worker unconscious after falling into fuel tank. A 37-year-old man remains unconscious after losing his mask and collapsing inside a 3-meter deep fuel tank in Holby. Tuesday, October 7th news. Government proposes age limit for social media. Denmark's government wants to ban children under 15 from several social media platforms, Mette Frederiksen announced. Teen injured by saw in workplace accident. An 18-year-old carpenter was injured when a power saw kicked back, cutting his chest and arm. Police seek woman after break-ins. A woman is suspected of entering multiple homes in Värde and Esbjerg and stealing cash and jewelry worth 18,000 krona. In a different crime, scammers use fake AI, football analysts. Foreign fraudsters are using AI-generated ads with a fake analyst named Martin to sell betting tips to young Danish men, reports Chekte. Man arrested for arson in Aarhus. A 43-year-old man has been charged with pouring flammable liquid on a building and setting it on fire. No one was hurt. 3 men caught with 500,000 krona cash at airport. 3 stateless men were stopped at Copenhagen airport with over 66,800 euros and charged with attempted money laundering. 3 men on trial for hotel rape. 3 foreign men are on trial for raping a woman in Frederiksberg Hotel in July 2025. Man fined for weapons at border. A 55-year-old Swede was fined 8,000 krona after police found a knife and a baton in his car in Rødby Havn. In a different case, man jailed 10 years for drug smuggling. A 28-year-old man from Fyn has been sentenced to 10 years for smuggling hash into Denmark. Chocolate firm accused of spying on staff. Employees claim Peter Bayer. Chocolates secretly monitored them via cameras in shops. The company denies wrongdoing. Government to abolish Integration Council. Government plans to dissolve the National Integration Council when its current term ends in 2026. National Bank. Keep 250 krona in cash. Denmark's central bank advises citizens to keep at least 250 krona in cash in case of payment system outages. Wednesday, October 8th news. 20,600 illegal puff bars seized at border. Police seized over 20,000 illegal flavored e-cigarettes in a truck at the Danish-German border. Businessman jailed for director's kidnapping. A businessman has had his sentence raised to 3.5 years for kidnapping and robbing a company director in Roskilde. Man jailed for weapons cache. A 45-year-old man from Ringsted received nearly 4 years in prison for storing 10 pistols, including one converted to fire live rounds. Police seek suspect in stabbing case. Copenhagen, Vestegn. Police are looking for a man after a stabbing. One 29-year-old suspect is already in custody. 150,000 hens to be culled for bird flu. A Fredericia farm will cull 150,000 hens after detecting a highly contagious flu strain. 26-year-old sentenced for 24 crimes. A man received nearly 4 years in prison for burglary, vandalism, fraud, and car theft, and lost his driver's license for 5 years. To Jutland, police with dogs after assault in Aalborg. A man was beaten by 3 others in Killeparken. Police say it's linked to the drug scene, not gangs. In a different crime, man jailed and expelled for child abuse. A 49-year-old foreigner from Struer was sentenced to 7 years and deportation for sexual abuse of a minor. 3 men charged with million-krona fraud. 3 men are accused of scamming a 75-year-old man out of 1.2 million krona by posing as police officers. Man jailed for fatal accident. A 27-year-old received 3.5 years for killing a 60-year-old woman in a crash near Kalundborg. Læsø municipality gave away funds illegally. Authorities ruled that Læsø municipality's 2022 donation of 1 million krona to a private foundation was unlawful. Man jailed for theft and fraud. A 37-year-old Romanian was jailed for using a stolen credit card to buy sunglasses in Copenhagen. In a different crime, vandalism at sports club. Suspect as young as 10. Officers are looking into vandalism at Sunari Sports Club and suspect youth between the ages of 10 and 19. Let's look at some of today's news, Thursday, October 9th. Gang leader arrested. A 30-year-old leading gang member has been arrested in a case involving the smuggling of pistols during a 2019 conflict, the National Unit for Special Crime, NSK, reports. He will appear in a preliminary court hearing in Copenhagen on Thursday morning. Man turns himself in after knife attack. A man wanted by Copenhagen West Police in connection with a stabbing in Hvidovre has turned himself in, the police wrote on X. Now to some business news. Novo Nordisk Wegovy pill to be produced exclusively in the United States. Novo Nordisk plans to produce its new weight loss pill entirely in the United States, according to MedWatch, says the company's US Director Dave Moore to Bloomberg News. The drug maker expects approval from US health authorities and aim to launch in the first half of 2026. Car taxes to make EVs much pricier. Prices for popular electric vehicles EVs such as the VW ID.4 and Tesla Model 3 are increasing. By 2025, Y will increase significantly, reaching 190,000 krona due to phased-in taxes. The price of gold reached its highest point ever. Amid uncertainty around the world, gold rose 50% this year and for the first time crossed the $4,000 per ounce mark. Silver price hits record. Silver reached almost $50 per ounce, following gold's historic surge of above $4,000. Now to our top stories. Monday, October 6, Paludan avoids prison in a hate speech case. From prison to a Swedish appeal court has overturned Rasmus Paludan's prison sentence related to a hate speech case. The anti-Islam activist and founder of Stram Kurs was originally sentenced to 4 months in prison by the Malmö District Court for 2 counts of incitement against an ethnic group in 2022, reports Ritzau. However, the Court of Appeal for Skåne and Blekinge reduced the sentence to suspended fine for one of the 2 charges, ruling that the other instance constituted religious criticism rather than hate speech. Paludan must now pay 50 daily fines of 50 Swedish krona, totaling 2,500 Swedish krona, estimated to 1,700 Danish krona. To another main story, Thursday 2nd. Thousands of public employees subjected to violence and threats. In the first 6 months of 2025, 2,434 public sector workers reported being exposed to violence or threats while on the job, according to new figures from the Danish National Police. Since 2022, police have received between 4,500 and 5,000 such reports annually, and the latest numbers suggest that the trend will continue this year. Among the most frequently affected are nurses, social workers, and citizen service employees. In June, the government and broad majority in parliament presented a new criminal reform that increases penalties for violence, threats, and harassment against public employees by 50% and makes online harassment more punishable. Now to the second of our main stories. Thursday 2nd, woman sentenced for helping circumcise 12-year-old niece. A 49-year-old woman has been sentenced by the Glostrup District Court for assisting in the illegal circumcision of her 12-year-old niece, reports Sjællandske Nyheder. The aunt helped restrain the girl during the assault, which took place in Somalia. She has received an indefinite supervision order after a mental evaluation found her mildly intellectually disabled. The sentence means she will be under municipal supervision, which can include placement in an institution for people with severe mental disabilities. The victim's father was previously sentenced to 2 years in prison for his role. Now to the last of our main story. From Tuesday, 5 charged in money laundering case involving over 70 million krona. The Danish Unit for Special Crime (NSK) and Copenhagen West Police arrested and charged 5 individuals Tuesday morning for laundering or aiding in the laundering of more than 70 million krona. Several searches were carried out in the Greater Copenhagen and North Jutland. According to NSK, this is the first operation stemming from the national AI. The Capone Task Force is an initiative from the government's 4th anti-gang package. Today's operation targeted an entire laundering network, including clients and gang-related money launderers, said NSK Commissioner Lasse Brogaard. 2 suspects appeared in court in Glostrup, where a 43-year-old man was remanded in custody for 4 weeks. A 49-year-old man was remanded in absentia, and a 53-year-old man was released, NSK stated on a social media platform X. That's all for now from Danish-InfoNewsTv. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest updates on Danish news and current affairs. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next report.